Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome back to the Let's Talk Business podcast. Today I'll be hosting. My name is Tamim. I'm from the Sydney Brothers, and we've got a special one today. So with one of our sponsors, Hasib Bhaiya, he's with a company called Financio. He's the founder, and he's a mortgage broker who I've actually had the privilege of working very closely with in some of my own work. And he's been very kind to sponsor us for this upcoming BCL as we make a return. So thank you so much, Hasib Bhaiya. Thanks so much for joining. Good to have you.
Yeah, thank you, Tamim. It's been a pleasure, to be honest. Cricket is always the game of, for us, for Bangladeshi people. But at the same
Absolutely.
time, never thought like I'll get an opportunity to, run a sponsorship with any of the cricket teams. But anyways,
Yep.
thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, I know you don't actually, even though you say that you don't actually play a lot of cricket yourself, so you're more of a soccer fan. And I hear that your son will eventually grow up to be the next Ronaldo. So,
oh my God. I don't pressurize him, but if he wants to be, he can be if he wants. So yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. So look, this comp, so BCL, and you just met Shahid Bhaiya in the lobby there. This is probably, I would say, the number one comp in Bengali cricket. It's one of the newer ones, but it's probably the most fun. So we have absolutely stacked teams. Some of the differences with this comp compared to the other ones are, we get umpires on both sides. So you've got like a leg umpire as well as just a normal one. All of the games are live streamed. Usually we will have a commentary box where some of the hooligans from Sydney Brothers will jump in and talk a lot of smack as well. So inshallah, we can get you into some of the games and, you can come and watch us play and maybe even jump into the commentary box. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think the games are starting up on the 18th of April. So hopefully we can get you to come and, meet the team over at our training sessions. We actually have some really structured training sessions going on now. My brother, he's the one who is going to be captaining us this year. So no, it's really good to have you. I remember when we met up for we had a meeting together for work, and you happened to mention that you were looking to do some marketing and you wanted to you were looking for someone to sponsor, and funnily enough, at that same time we were also looking for a sponsorship from someone. So that's when I kind of raised it with you. So really we're so happy to have you on board. For those who don't really know you yet, do you think, Bhaiya, if you can just give us a quick intro on who you are and what got you into mortgage broking?
Yes, a little bit. So basically, my background is always finance and accounting. Throughout my, I think from very young age, I was working with the bank. I had the experience to work with the different banks back in Bangladesh and coming to Australia. I worked with one of the big fours as a mortgage assessor. It's not like I was always wanted to be a mortgage broker, to be honest, but it's just because when I was
kind of like the natural pathway, right?
Yeah, so basically what happened is when I was a mortgage assessor, I saw an opportunity to start my own business, which I wanted to do eventually. And the path of the opening up a new business is it's not that easy, because when you're in finance organization working for someone else, you can only work with one organization at a time. So basically I was working, and then eventually I just had to make a call. I did work with a few of the the banks for few years, and then I had to make the call whether I should stay my entire life with them or should I start by myself. And then it's what happens with the big organizations is that when you are with them, you meet up with so many stakeholders, so many brokers, so many people who are actually into the business, and then you just get the idea of what it's like to be entered into the broking industry right from the beginning. So yeah, eventually I thought like, okay, let's see how it goes. So what happened is like I always wanted to, do mortgage broking eventually. So something happened back in 2024. I think it was during the Ramadan time. I started, like I never, like, to be honest, I did not read Quran that much. Okay, so
Fair
back
enough.
in, I think back in 2024, Ramadan time, I had a very good translation of the holy book. So I started reading it, went to the Surah Bakara where it says
Yep.
that, like it's completely prohibited and we should not, be as a good Muslim, we should not, work with the
Yep.
interests and
Yep.
things like
Yep.
that and stuff. But and then I it just taken me aback. I was like, what am I doing? Like, like what am I doing? It's just
It's a
like,
realization a lot of people come to in the finance
yeah, yeah,
industry,
yeah, yeah.
right?
But
Yeah.
Surya Bakara is just like that. It's just like it's a lot of realization that you don't even realize when you're doing things.
Hmm.
And then I think I, sat down for a couple of hours every time I read all the verses pretty much. And I was like what's like what I'm gonna do? Like, currently I'm working with the conventional bank, and then if I go to broking, it's just like, of course, like I knew like it's not compliant with our belief and faith. But at the same time, I was like, okay, so let's see how it goes. And then, and I knew about Islamic finance in Australia, which was like
Hmm.
always like I always had a doubt on them, like, how they do it, and like, I mean the backstage, or like, the whole part, the process and everything. Um, and then suddenly I think it just, happens. I just saw the ads of Hijaz, and I had a doctor, my GP, and he told me about Hijaz. I was like, okay, let me find out. And then I, started exploring the Islamic finance and stuff like that. And then I realized, like, probably whatever I have earned are going to the bank, and if it's in the bank, all my money, it's part of interest and stuff. Only way, even if it's dollar, only way I can, I can make it good, or make it like, at least try to be compliant, is if I
Yep.
do something as far as Islamic finance. And then
Absolutely.
I thought like, okay, so I'll be a broker, I'll be a conventional broker plus Sharia finance or Sharia based broker. That
Hmm.
way, at least some of my income might be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, so
Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
that was my I think that was my intention. And then I think we had a holiday, and then after coming back from holiday, and then I was like, okay, this is the time. As soon as I
Yeah.
started, that's the better, And then I think
Yeah.
I started my business back in December 2024.
Yep.
Since then, I was always like, in the mortgage industry, you have to choose an aggregator, and
Yep.
I have to choose an aggregator where you have, like Islamic finance or Sharia-based finance. Loan market happened to be that, gave me the
Yep.
opportunity. And yeah, you can write the loans, you can, do everything. If you want to write the Sharia loans by itself, you can do that. And then, yeah,
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
I just started my
Yeah.
own business. They were my aggregator, loan market, and then I
Yeah.
started my whole new business because it's my brand.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, I was just trying to, I was just trying to write loans straight away from with Hijaz. But
Yep. Yep.
unfortunately, I
Yep.
don't know what happened. I think you called me after 6 or 7 months. I was like, hey, this is
Yeah.
Samin. I work for Hijaz. And I was like, oh, wow.
I remember that
And
like it was
then
just the other day, actually.
I was thrilled
Yeah.
because I tried to reach out to Hijaz so many times, so many ways, because they did not have a, like, certain BDMs. So it was
Mm-mm-mm.
hard to make the first communication and submit the first deal and stuff. So Alhamdulillah,
Yep.
after that,
Yep.
I think with you, I think we probably submitted
Yeah.
4 deals up until now. So
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
It's been good.
it's going good. It's
Um.
going good,
Yeah.
but yeah, like a lot to come, inshallah, yeah, in the future.
Inshallah, inshallah. So I mean, like I remember, like when I first, I was cold calling, and obviously I was cold calling people in my
Mm,
area because
mm,
it's much closer for me. And I remember
mm,
when I saw
mm,
your name, I was like, oh, might be Bengali. So I did a quick Google search, and I was like, yep,
yeah.
100% Bengali Paya.
Mm,
Let me give
mm,
him a ring. And then I remember you mentioned, like, you really wanted to expand into Islamic finance, and
mm,
you left the finance industry when you were working
mm,
for a conventional bank and stuff. And
mm,
that's something that
mm,
I could really relate with as
mm,
well.
mm,
And then I
mm,
just remember, yeah, after our first meeting, since then, like it's
mm.
we've been writing quite a bit. So it's been
Yeah.
really good to see you over the last few months. that I've been working with you, you know, how much your business is thriving as well. Yeah, it's been absolutely amazing. And I think it also makes sense, you know, like, yeah, from your background as a credit analyst, like a lot of people do go into the brokering side. We used to call it the dark side when I was also in the credit space, because you know, you understand it very well, and it does feel like a bit of a leap of faith, right? Because you're like you're very comfortable in the banks, they're paying you a good salary, and then you're thinking about starting your own business, and you don't know how it's going to go as well. So props to you, you know, for going out and doing that, and you know, inshallah, there's something in it for all of us to take away from that as well. So
like just to add on that, like, it was, of course, it was a challenge. It was a massive challenge. I have a like family to run. I have few mortgages to cover every month. But you know, Allah makes a way. That's what I feel, and I think, like, you know, with all the experience that I had, I thought, like, you know, if I don't start it, I'll never know. So if I can know. So, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah. Now that's really good. And yeah, thanks for answering that one as well. Just to kind of go off topic here, what made you decide to sponsor a local cricket team, and why is Sydney Brothers? I mean, I think Sydney Brothers because I probably forced you into it. But yeah, what was the idea? Where did that idea come from?
The thing is, like, I think you know, just like when you're running your own business, especially the service-based business, you have to put your face, you have to put your logo, you have to put your brand somewhere where you get the exposure, right? So of course we can always talk about Meta, TikTok and whatnot, but in the community, if you don't run yourself in the community, like, let's say, sports events, you know, different type of, like, you know, cultural events and stuff like that, it like, people will not know you, and, like, you know, it's a very core part of the business. The reason for doing a sports event is, like, I thought, like, you know, the exposure will be a bit more than, you know, sponsoring a cultural event and, you know, community events. And at the same time, like, you know, I was always thinking about, you know, making a stride with the sponsoring. I think I told you I had another tournament to sponsor, or maybe buying it and stuff like that. But and then I came to you, I think, and when I heard, like, you know, you guys are pretty full on with all the tournaments and like stuff like that, and then you have a bit of history. And then I thought, like, yeah, probably, you know, I'll just go with you, because I'm too comfortable with you, talking to you, and of course, probably, you know, with your brother and your, like, your friends, like, probably I thought this will be the most comfortable and most compatible sponsoring for me, because, you know, I think I could relate as well. So that was my decision, you know. So
for sure. And all the boys, like, they were so grateful as well. And I won't disclose how much, but it was a very we're definitely getting a lot more than the other team, so I'll say that. So yeah, thanks, Leah. You've been very generous, and it definitely goes a long way, especially for us. And all the boys are really stoked to meet you as well. If anything, we were actually trying to tee up something a while ago, but because of Ramadan, we kind of stopped all the cricket, all the training. But it'll be starting up very soon, so we're definitely going to tee something up. And I also remember you mentioning that, you know, one of your focuses on your business and how you do mortgage brokering is you're very customer focused, right? And it's not about just getting the business, but it's also about, like, you know, taking care of the people that you know, that you're working with. And I remember, like, when I originally asked you why you were looking to sponsor, it wasn't even about marketing. It was more about, like, you know, you want to give back to the community, and also at the same time you get something back in return as well. So I know you're a big sports fan, even though it's not cricket. You're a big sports fan because you play soccer yourself. Your son plays soccer. I've been trying to get you into MMA and jiu-jitsu. You don't really like that stuff at all. So, but it's good. It's good that you know. And I think when you come to one of the games, you'll have a lot of fun. It's pretty good, especially the Sydney Brothers games. The turnouts are amazing. All right, so we'll move on to the next question. So we've worked together on Islamic finance deals, right? What's been your experience with the clients looking for Sharia compliant options? Anything that stood out? Because they are a little bit different from clients that are looking after or
so
normal? Yeah.
basically what happened is like with the Sharia finance, something like sometimes something happens like you don't have any answer or whatever. So I was running
Mm.
these ads in Meta, and that's, I think, for quite a few months I was running
Yeah.
these ads. Out of them, the funny enough, the first client that I got from Meta ad is from the Islamic finance.
All
And
right. Nice.
so it was like, and I was like, I was just got stunned. I was like, the guy was asking me all these questions, and I was like, I'm not quite sure if this is a scam or whatnot. I was talking to my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to my wife. I was like, I think someone called me and like asking me about all the Islamic finance, the rates and stuff like that. I'm not sure, like, I should, spend my time on it. And then, literally, I think the next day the guy called again. He's like, yeah, can we catch up? Like, in Greenacre. So he's from Greenacre. He's like, can we catch up? Like, stuff like that. And then I caught up with him, and literally from then and there, I got the deal, and then I submitted his deal. So that was like, but the thing is, like, on Meta, I run quite a
Mm-hmm.
lot. So this person just came, doesn't know me, doesn't know my name, never had any connection. He's from Sri Lanka, like, he's not even Bengali,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
he has no clue who am I. And in the Greenacre area, I think there are quite a few. I think 10 or 12 mortgage brokers.
Mm.
But I don't know
Right.
why
Yeah.
he called me, and I probably he saw my ad and stuff like that. And then I think from then there, I just spoke to him, told him all the process, like I just said, like probably he saw my faith, like when I'm talking to him.
Yeah.
And I reiterated all the time that, just regardless, like, if you be my customer, not be my customer, doesn't matter, as long as I'm trying, I'm
Mm.
trying to help you. That's the
Mm.
most
Mm-hmm.
successful thing for me. Like, at least I had some sort of conversations. So out of
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
money that I
Yeah.
spent on Meta, only one guy
Yeah.
came to me,
Yeah.
and he's doing Islamic finance with me. So
Yeah.
all the other areas, like in the conventional finance stuff, I never had any customer on that front.
Mm.
But this guy came and worked with me, and probably he's referring
Mm-hmm.
more clients to me.
Yeah.
And that's the most, I think, what would I say, like, it's just a fate. Like, I don't know if it's a fate or whatever, but
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
really, I was taken back, to be honest. I was really taken back. I was like, why are you trusting me? Like, you don't have to trust me. But
Yeah.
and then I started learning of him. I think he's a pretty mature guy, and he has 3 sons. All of them are looking for Islamic finance as well. So so
It
sometimes
works out
somehow
like that.
something
Hey.
happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Sometimes something
And I
happens,
think,
like you don't
yeah.
have any answer or
I
question, or
remember
like you don't have
mentioning
any
that to
logic.
you actually. Yeah.
Mm,
One of the first things I
mm,
think I mentioned to you how, like, if
mm,
you're doing anything for the Muslim community, right, and
mm,
any kind
mhm,
of service-based business,
mm, mhm.
if they're happy with you, they usually end up bringing their whole family and everyone they know, all their friends, all their cousins, and everyone.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
think that's
exactly.
definitely a plus side
Yeah.
with working with the Muslim community as well. So, or
Yeah.
really any community
Mm,
that has a
mm,
really strong kind of culture. So now that's
mhm,
really good. We'll move on to the next question.
mhm,
So I was going to ask you,
mhm.
what are the biggest mistakes you see people making when trying to buy their first home? And I
Um,
think now it's a very relevant thing because there's so many government
mhm,
incentives.
mhm.
There's so
I
many
think
things
I
going
think
on right now. Yeah.
yeah, I think the first thing is like they always try to max out themselves. Like, that's the most sad part. It's a sad story.
Mm,
People don't, even the young people, they don't realize the repayments and how all those things works. They just try to max out, like, and what happens is they end up selling them, like, homes, like, because I had a bit of a background with conventional as well. They always try to max out themselves. What
yeah.
happens is it's a stress, like, it's a mortgage stress that they fell into. And
Mm,
once they are in a mortgage stress, and it's really easy to get frustrated, lose your family, lose your everything over it, right? So my experience says, like, you always try, of course, like, you have to think about what you are getting. Of course, like, you're looking for value. By the same time, when you try to max out, that means that probably for next 3 4 5 years you're pretty much stuck in a place. Then you do, like, you won't be able to get out of,
mm,
so you just don't max out, like, just do, so like what I'd say, like, just think about it, like, so if you take a mortgage now, just think about think about 3 years after that, like, what's going to happen, what's your repayment going to be, what's your plan is, like, whether both of you will be working, like, do you have any plans of changing your jobs, and any circumstances might change. Probably, first time buyers, like, probably you'll have a baby soon, like, all those things matters a lot, to be honest, like,
Right.
if you, like, let's say, for example, if you are an investor, like, of course, like, it's a different game, different world game, like,
Yep.
of course, I'll fight for you, I'll just try to get the cheapest loan, I'll just try to, get the more borrowing from all those banks. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, when you're a first time buyer, it's really hard. You have to understand, like, how the bank works.
Yeah.
Bank is making money out of you, so so you have to be
Yeah.
very vigilant. You have to be smart, you have to listen to people, so that you just don't get stuck, and
Yeah.
just end up selling your house, probably you're losing all your savings, and those are the things, like, it's just, of course, like, in Sydney, or like, I'm in Australia, the house prices goes up by value, yes, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it is sometimes it's not like that, because we see the story of Victoria, Melbourne, like, the price has, sharply fallen for some
Mm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be very, very careful on
For sure.
maxing yourself out,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
repayment. So people don't realize about repayment, I think, at all.
Of
But
course.
me as a broker, it's my job to make them understand what repayment would
Yeah.
be, and how all those things will work.
Yeah.
So
Just
yeah,
crunching the numbers for them and giving them some
yeah.
pretty general
Mm.
advice, right? So
I
basically, the
lose,
takeaway
like, to be
from
honest, yeah, I lose clients for that. To be honest, I lose
yeah,
clients for that,
yeah,
and I don't know, but I think
yeah,
we
yeah,
need to
yeah,
make them financially aware, like, what's
yeah,
coming.
yeah.
That is the most important part.
I think that's for me been one of the biggest reasons why I've really enjoyed working with you. And I actually send you clients whenever I get a chance as well. And it's because I know you're not just thinking about settling the deal. Like a lot of mortgage brokers are just about getting the deal done. They don't really think about, or they don't even really tell the customer that, oh, this might happen to you, or these are the risks, and you shouldn't do that. Rather, you're very just focused on the customer and their outcomes, and you're just like, look, I don't care if you go with me, but this would be the best option for you. And I think, yeah, I really respect that. And I think that's a really good way to do business as well, like honest business. Of course, there's a lot more baraka in that as well, and I'm sure you've been able
Yeah,
to see that over the coming months
alhamdulillah.
as well.
You
So,
can, like,
so
you can't
essentially,
even.
yeah, yeah, the takeaway is essentially basically you need to plan out your kind of midterm future, and you need to roughly understand what changes you might face, and not max yourself out when it comes to borrowing money to buy. Obviously there's a lot of, like, rates are going up, so every single time a rate goes up, people are getting into more stress with their mortgages. The people who don't max themselves out, obviously they have a bit more wiggle room. So no, that's really good advice. And then off the back of that, what would you say to someone who feels like they can't actually afford a home? What should they do to get themselves ready to, eventually buy a home? Do you think it's like, focus on saving more money, or like,
I would
should
say,
they be
like,
reducing their expenses,
I
or
would say,
how, yeah.
like, whatever savings that you have, just try to save up more, like, as much as you can. If you have a house, to be honest, I mean, like, don't focus on having another house, like, like a new
Mm,
house. I would say just try to invest in property. As we
yeah.
all know, that we are just pretty much, uh, very focused on all those, what I'd say, share markets and whatnot, investments and stuff like that. But at the same time, we have to think about, like, how can you make wealth, to be honest. So basically, I had like few customers who came to me to purchase a house, of course, owner
Mhm.
occupied, like first home buyer, stuff like that. And then when I told them about all the scenarios, different scenarios, they actually bought property, but they bought investment property.
Right.
So what happened with them is that the properties goes up in a value, because me as a funds broker or mortgage broker, I have quite a few people that I know about in real estate industry,
Mhm.
financial planners, all the other legal advisors. So basically, what happens with them is that, like, I just tell them to talk to them. Like, it's just so much easier to like get thrown into, because let's say if you're getting a $1 million loan, you have to pay 7,000, 8,000, or whatever, like, the numbers. And then suddenly after 2 months, it's like, oh, like, that's a lot. And then you try to find
Mm,
for a second job, third job, like, and then you're just stressing yourself out. So people who are really would like to, uh, make equity, so to speak,
yeah.
I would say, like, just, whatever savings that you have, try to, max your savings as much as you can.
Mm,
Try to buy a property that you can afford. Like nowadays, the thing called rent investing. I think that's
yeah.
a like pretty much everyone knows about it. So
Mm, mm, mm.
the thing is, it is pretty much like, it's crazy, like, because with the rent investing thing, we can easily do, like, you can easily grow your portfolio. You can easily make equity out of it. What happens is, like, with when you're paying rent, right? When you're paying
Mm.
rent, you are living in an area that you would love to live.
Yep.
And at the
Or
same
maybe
time,
you
you're
can't afford to, yeah, buy it there.
exactly,
Yeah,
like,
makes sense.
so, like, to be honest, I would like to live in a certain part of Sydney. Of course, like, I was living in, like, southeast.
Yep.
Like, I would love to live there. My wife would love to live there, but at the same time, I know that I won't be able to afford it. Like, if I buy it, like, it's
Brother, you
impossible.
live in such a nice place. You got a brand new house. You're right next to the
No, no,
new
no, no.
bus
But
terminal. You're
no, no,
gonna
no.
move,
Of
right?
course, yeah, yeah, yeah. But what I'm trying to say is, like, like those, like, of course, where I live, it's pretty nice.
Mm,
But then again,
yeah,
like, there are nicer places. Like, there's no end of nicest places, right?
of
So
course, of
probably,
course.
just pay rent, like, because when you're paying rent, a bank is thinking, oh, you're paying $2,000 in rent a month, so they will not
Hmm.
put a buffer on it, right? But let's say
Right.
if you have a $2,000 mortgage, okay,
Makes
every
sense.
month,
They're putting a
they
buffer
would
on
put a
that.
3% buffer on it, which
Yeah,
means, like, your $2,000 become $3,000, and then you won't be able to borrow anymore, right?
got it,
So
got it, got it.
basically, rent investing is a thing that you can obviously, look out.
Mm,
I
yep,
do lend from starting from 5%, like, like investment loan. I can, do it for
yep,
starting from five
yep,
percent. I
yep,
can, just get you
yep,
loans. So I
yep.
did with I did very recently with two of my customers. They're pretty
Mm,
young, like, I think their age, like, they are probably in your age. But
yep.
yeah, they just, they're happy, like, they look out, and then they watch out, and they are, I think, probably they will come back to me again in July as well. So, that's it's amazing. It's amazing.
That's good. That's good. So
So
yeah,
yeah.
essentially, so if someone can't really afford, do you think the best thing for them is to just save up as much as they can, and rather
Mm,
than buying a place to like
mm,
live,
mm,
in a
mm,
nice place that where maybe they
mm,
most
mm,
likely couldn't afford, like the
mm,
way that it's going in
mm,
Sydney, you
mm,
basically what you do is you'd sit down with them, look at what they can afford, and then
mm,
try and find the best property in that space. And I
mm,
remember you mentioning, you've got quite a few connections in the buyers agency
mm,
space and all that
mm,
kind of stuff, where
mm,
certain
mm,
people that are really good at finding those cheaper
mm,
properties for the investing, and
mm,
customers can rent and
mm.
invest in elsewhere, and at least that way they
Yeah.
could to get into the property market and own something, but maybe they don't take out a massive mortgage, or
Mm,
have to put
mm,
a huge down payment. So no, that's really good
mm.
advice. And I will just mention as well, anything here is all general advice, so I think we need to put that out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
um,
Of course, it's just very
yeah.
general. Yeah.
um, just a couple more questions. We'll speed
Mhm,
through. So, how does working with a mortgage broker benefit someone compared to
mhm.
directly going to a bank? And what
So.
extra value do you provide as
Mm,
a mortgage broker? And I think a lot of customers have this
mm,
question where they think that
mm,
they can just go
mm,
to the bank and
mm,
they'll get some kind of different kind of service, and a lot of people think they actually have to pay a mortgage
mm,
broker
mhm.
to get them to do the work. So what are the misconceptions here? What extra value do you think a mortgage broker can provide? And why should customers actually go through a mortgage broker rather than just
Mm.
going directly to any bank?
So basically, the first thing is that so let's say if someone, looking for a home loan, or, like, whatever loan, um if they start to going to each and every lender, like, I think in Australia you have more than 100 banks. So if they start to, going into into the banks, like, and calling them, or probably meeting them face to face, it's going to take
Mhm.
at least 100 days for them, right?
Right.
Whereas me, as a mortgage broker, I have more than 70 lenders on my panel. um I can just check for them in a second, right? Like, whether like which bank would be most suitable, most preferable for them. Okay.
Yeah.
So that, I think that's the biggest advantage, like, because I have access to over more than, I think, 70 or 76, something like that. So that's a big panel of lenders that I have, and then let's say and then at the same time, if someone is not ready, we just don't we still talk to them, right? So we, like, if someone's not ready now, probably 6 months later he'll be ready. So once you are signing up with us, you'll be with us for the, as long as you wanted to be with us, like, so like making them ready for a loan, looking into their financials, looking all of their what do you call it, their plans, and, like, as a whole, their applications and stuff like that. So those are the things that I just, like, we as a team, like, we just go through one by one, so that customer don't get lost. Whereas with the bank, it's just like, you're a customer, you're just not a
You're just
customer.
focusing on the deal, and they don't care about anything else.
They have a target set of target, and then they're just trying to achieve the target as much as possible. For me, if you come with me, like, you're not a target for me, you're a person, and I just have to deal with you in the best way possible, because it's like, I think mortgage is, I think, the most high risking debts that you're taking for your life, right? So you just have to be very mindful of what may come and what may not come, like, just for example, the interest rate hike, what happened in the last 2 months, like, probably people expected, but like, at the same time, it's just like, you just can get carried away, like, and just to make them understand how things works, what's, like, between different products, like, probably, if you, like, just to so to speak, if you go to a bank, probably they'll tell you fixed product or variable product, right? They'll just fixed is fixed, variable is variable. But what I tell the client is, like, what is fixed, like, why is fixed, like, what is the best way that you can do for a few bit and then variable for a few bit, like, so I think the mortgage brokers are more like,
catered towards the customers.
Are more detailed. Then we are not station service, right? You just come to me, you just pay me, I give you a lolly, like, it's not like that. It's more of a which is why
Makes
I think,
sense.
like, you just have to have a bit of information.
Absolutely.
a lot of risk to you and yourself and your family. So
right. And also, like, if a customer goes directly to a bank and for whatever reason they don't really fit within the bank's policies and stuff, right? That bank really can't help them, is it? Whereas with you as a broker, you could look at the situation, you can say, oh, these people have certain policies, so we can take you there, or they have different policies, so we can take you there. And you can give a lot more of a, I guess, like a custom approach for, each customer.
Of course.
And also, just like, are there any, I think there's some misconceptions around, do customers pay mortgage brokers? Do you charge a fee? Or, is it like, how does that work?
No. So we don't charge a fee at financial, like, we don't charge at all, because we get the commission from the bank. Okay, so like, all the.
So you're more there to, like, help the customer deal with banks, right? You're more of an advocate for the customer, if anything, right? So it's not really like they're not borrowing money from you. They want to borrow money from XYZ kind of place, but you're more there to help them out and crunch all the numbers for them and show them the way to go. And you also deal with the banks so that they don't have to, right?
Exactly.
Makes sense. Well, that's
it's like, it's like, to be honest, with the fees and everything, there are quite a few number of brokers who might sometimes charge a fee. But we don't do it because I don't think it's right at the same time, because of course, like, you are spending a lot of time with the client, and if they don't come back, it's like your time is wasted. But at the same time, I feel like, it's a more of an advice that, like, like, when you're talking to people, like, you don't charge people, right, when you're talking. So that's what I feel like. As long as I'm not spending my whole week on you, I don't think charge would be reasonable.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right, so,
And I think that could be one of the downsides to brokering as well,
mm,
right? Sometimes you work so hard on certain
yeah,
customers, and for
mm,
some reason they just never get back to you, and you've done all this hard work, but it
mm,
hasn't worked out. So
mm,
I think that's one of the downsides of kind of running business in general. But you're always going to get those ups and downs, right?
mm, mm.
Other than that, I think it's already been almost 40 minutes, so we'll try and
Yeah,
finish
yeah,
off
yeah.
quickly with these last two.
Mhm.
I'm really keen to hear about, have you ever had like a really memorable deal or a
Mhm.
client story that really stuck with you? I think I
Yes,
know
I have.
one
Mm.
one person who was in a bit of a pickle, and you helped her out. I think you
Mm.
might know who we're talking about. Or if you have any other customers where
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. I think so. Like this person, like a she. So are you talking about she or not?
yeah, I was talking about a
She,
she,
right?
but let's not
Yeah,
mention
yeah,
any names or anything. But
yeah,
that
yeah,
that
yeah.
was
Of
a
course.
really good one, and I think that was an
Yeah, yeah,
amazing
yeah.
outcome.
Yep. So basically, what happened is, with her is that like she had no clue how to buy a house in Australia because she's from overseas. I think she just received her permanent residency, and like she was working in emergency services, so that was good. But at the same time, like she doesn't know what contract to sale is. She doesn't know anything. Pretty like she
Just
doesn't
no
know what
basics, not
contract is.
even. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What all she does is like she just works. She has three jobs and like has no clue, no idea like what's happening. So what happened is like literally she came to me. I just did her boring part calculation and stuff like that. She and then probably it was because it was out of the state, like not in like interstate, so it was in South Australia. So
Mm,
what happened is on that one, the client wanted to buy a house. Doesn't matter if it's a unit house. Like she doesn't care. She just wanted to
yeah,
own her own house.
sure.
So yeah, and then she said like, yeah, I just come to you. I don't know which one to buy. I don't know how to buy it. I don't know where to sign. I just want to buy a house. And
Mm,
then luckily, I knew some buyer agents, and then I think the one of the buyer agent like just reached out to me. Hey, I said like, do you have any deals and stuff like that? So I just relayed him about this deal,
mm,
and then he said like,
mhm.
yeah, probably I'll be able to help you out. And so basically in South Australia, like stamp duty and everything is like it's pretty expensive. But luckily that buyer agent able to manage her. She never had to pay $1 on a stamp duty because it's a brand new house. At the same time, like with the servicing and everything, it just makes so much sense. And the most important thing is it's a brand new house, and the
Mm,
house was about to be ready within next 2 months. And I was
right.
like, and when I was speaking to the buyers, I was like, so no one's buying this one because South Australia back then was like, it's still pretty hot now, but it was pretty hot
Sure.
back then as well. So and then it's like, yeah, I think someone is going to sign on that one, but I am holding up for you if you like, try to go ahead. And then I spoke to, and I was trying to reach out the client. I was like, hey, you have to sign here. And she was like, no, I'm not sure whether I'm going to sign. Like, I don't know. And I was like, you just sign it. Like, I'm telling you, just sign it, and then let's see how it goes.
Mm,
And then she signed up, and then we just within 2 months the house was ready. Fast forward, we settled the deal, and then she, as soon as she saw the house, that's her own house. She was very young. As soon as she walked into the house, like she started crying. Like she was like, I never had a house in my whole life, like because
mm,
she is not from a very rich background.
sure.
As soon as she entered into the house, because with so many other thing with the lender, I got her into deposit scheme, so to speak, which is
Yep.
a scheme
Yep.
that
Yep.
you don't have to pay much of a deposit. That
Sure.
way, she was in tears. I was like, I never had a house. Like we live in a very like not a very nice house back in our country.
Mm, mm,
But
mm,
here
mhm,
we have a nice house. It's a nice backyard. Like it's
mm.
it's it's so good.
Yeah.
And
No.
yeah, that was one of my cases. Like that's what I tell all the time, because what happens is she was a first time buyer. I did not max her out, and at the same time, she liked what she got, and
Right.
then she never had to spend $1 on constructions on the stages and stuff like that. She paid, I think 5%, and then rest of it was paid on settlement.
Yep.
And it's like, I was like, and she was like, I heard about you have to pay construction stages by stages, you have to pay for the land
Yeah,
deposit
yeah,
and stuff like that. I
yeah,
was like,
yeah, yeah.
we did everything in one contract,
Wow.
in one package,
Yeah, yeah,
and yeah, it was pretty nice.
yeah.
Yeah, it
And
was
I
really
think
like a memorable day.
that's one of the benefits of having a mortgage broker, right? And especially someone like yourself who has some really good connections within the buyer's agency and all that kind of stuff as well. Because yeah, I mean, there's that one. I also know another one where a customer completely like she reached out to me and she was like, "Oh, thank you so much for getting me in touch with Hasib Bhaiya." This was the single mother of three, if you remember, and she had
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
no clue anything
yeah.
about finance. Doesn't know,
Yeah.
obviously did a really good job, but not in
Mm,
finance.
mm,
And yeah, she was in a bit of a pickle. She didn't really know what to
mm,
do. And I remember
mm,
when I flicked that one your way and you jumped in,
mm,
and by the end of it, she was just
mm,
so happy. And I think you're actually
mm.
still working with her on something new now
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I'm really
Yeah,
keen on that.
like
But it's
yeah,
yeah, it's yeah.
it's
What
that,
were
and
you gonna
then
say?
like, to be honest, and there's another deal that came to me. So this person, this is a funny one, right? So this person wanted to buy a house back in August last
Mm,
year. I'm talking about August,
mm,
September, and then I think he missed out on one house because I like, so he's my friend, right? First of all, and he said like, yeah, Hasib, I'm more than happy to pay $5,000 extra. I was like, yeah, you're right, but at the same time, of course, I'm not. It's not my job to suggest you about the property and whatnot. But I said
yeah,
like, like, why this one? That's my
yeah.
question. As soon as I asked why, and he just fumbled himself. I was like, because of this. I was like, yeah, but but doesn't make sense because the
Mm,
land area and everything else is like, you don't. It doesn't make sense to me. And then when he lost that house, he was like, "Oh, see, probably lost it." I was like, "Probably something will come." Just pretty God, like something will come.
mm,
Luckily, he found something, and then and then I spoke to the real estate agent, and I was like, "Yep." So that's again, that's off the plan purchase. So he just paid $1,000 to sign up the contract, and from sign up back in September till March, I think he never had to pay $1. So
yeah.
he's saved, I think, in construction stage payments a lot, and at the same time, he never paid anything for the land. I think
Mm,
fast forward 5 months, he just paid everything at one go, and his repayment starts when he got the keys. So
right, right.
and
Yeah.
that was another deal. And then he told me like, he's my friend, like, and he's my buddy, but at the same time,
Mm,
he never says to anyone. It's like, Hasib, I'm really happy. I think you're doing good.
yeah, yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
yeah, because I always look at the value that
Mm, mm,
you're getting,
mm,
more
yeah,
than like, more than you have to do it now. You have to do it now.
of
Like,
course.
why now? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're a
Yeah,
first
I
time buyer.
think yeah, buying a home is always a very emotional thing that a lot
Yeah.
of people do. So,
Mhm,
sometimes when they see something very nice and
mhm,
shiny,
mhm,
and they get just stuck on that one thing, not and they don't consider any of the
mhm,
risks.
mhm,
Like sometimes it could be maybe an apartment and it's
mhm,
just brand new, it's really
mhm,
nice, it has nice
mhm,
marble,
mhm,
all that kind of stuff. And so they
mhm,
might just be like, oh no, no, I don't care about anything, I just want to buy this. It's really good that you could at least show them that, look, if you do this then this will happen, but if you
mhm,
do this then you can also benefit in these ways and stuff. So I think that's also really goes back to why it's so
mhm,
important to have a good mortgage broker rather than just
mhm,
making your own decisions and going to
mhm,
banks directly. We'll
mhm,
finish off with this last one. You can
mhm,
make it quick if you want to. So
mhm,
if you could give just one piece of financial advice, again,
mhm,
general financial advice,
mhm.
what would it be when it comes
Um,
to buying homes?
yeah. So basically, as I said,
I
like,
think you
first
kind
just
of already answered
yeah,
this
max
question
out,
without,
and
yeah.
then yeah, and then probably I would say, like, just um, it's not like this is the last sort of transaction that will happen to your life.
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
Like, you try to save as much, you try to do as much as you can, but there's one thing called fate. Like, of course, like, you always have to work hard and stuff like that, but this dunya is very temporary, so
Mm,
don't get stuck somewhere, don't get very emotional on buying houses, but take it as a like an as a pathway to gain equity, and to to have to have yourself financial freedom. Like, just think about financial freedom first, and
Yeah.
then probably think about the mortgages,
Right.
probably or
Exactly.
buying a home, right? So
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
my job is to get you to mortgage, like mortgages, like,
Yeah.
finding products and stuff like that. But I think one thing
Mm,
you have to understand is, like, now with growing concerns globally, and we don't know what's going to happen, in
mm,
next 5 years. Like, we don't know, like, what's going to happen. So
mm, mm,
be
mm.
very financially aware. We
Yeah.
try to um, just be aware, and if you one thing what I would say, like, Australian real estate industry, or the Australian real estate business as a whole, is, I think it's a gem. Like, so what happened is, I spoke to someone, my existing client. He bought a house, I think back 5 or 6 years back in Gold Coast, right?
Hmm.
And for very cheap, like very cheap, and like, we are just in discussion and stuff like that. And then someone told him, like, hey bro, just, why don't you sell your house and, pay off your, like, your home, and
Yeah.
you'll be more free. And he told me, like, he's very knowledgeable guy, and he said, I bought it in Gold Coast, so that's a gold. Like, if it was in if it was in Sydney, I would have sold it by now. But
Sure.
because, you're like, his idea was good, and he said, like, probably it will go even more, like, and probably I'll be, moving to Gold Coast in the future as well.
Mm,
So,
hmm.
all that, because why he did that, because he had a plan. He always had a plan,
Right.
like, where he wanted to buy, what's the market look like, like, I see so many people are, just jumping into so many other different markets, because that's a
Mm,
capital city.
mm, mm,
At the
mm,
same
mm.
time, probably, if you see the rent of that places, once you settle the property, you have to probably spend quite probably a month or two
Yeah.
just to get a tenant in, right? So
Right.
so
Right.
basically, like, I always try to be, I always try to, give advice to people about mortgage products and whatnot. But when it comes to real estate advice, I always refer them to the the people who are expert, pretty much
For
pretty
sure.
expert on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
more you speak to people, more you know,
Of
more knowledge
course.
as a whole,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I say, yeah, that's what it is basically.
Awesome.
So speak to people, and then, yeah, and then you'll be fine.
Consider all
Like,
the risks and don't just jump in
yeah,
emotionally, right?
yeah, exactly.
Nice.
And
That's really good
and
advice.
yeah, and at the same
Yeah.
time, like, as I said, like, the dunya is, like, very temporary. Like, there's no
Yeah.
there's like, you can't be, getting too much on this dunya.
Yeah.
So, like,
Absolutely.
it's 1 second you're gone, and, everything's gone too.
Right.
So be very
100%.
careful, what you are living behind. That's what, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you so much for the chat, Hasib Bhaiya. Can you
Mhm.
let us, all the viewers, know how they can reach out to you? So, do you have a website? Is
Yes,
there
I
like
do.
a,
Yeah, so I'll just probably share. I can share.
sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Just a second. Just a second. I'll just try to share.
If it doesn't let you share, you could always just chuck it in the chat as
Yeah.
well. If you could put in your, your maybe your mobile number, a link to your website,
Yeah.
any way that customers can
Mhm.
reach out, or maybe just come to all of our
So
cricket games and
yeah, no. So this is my website. This is financial. And so this is my website. Of course,
yep,
I'll be putting the link in in the description as well.
yeah,
Um,
please.
yeah. And then my Facebook page is this one. This is my Facebook page. So yeah, probably I'll just put both the link in the description. Yeah.
Yeah, just chuck all the links in, your phone number,
Mhm.
how people can reach out to you to have a chat.
Mhm.
Obviously, it's
Yeah.
all free, and I think
Yeah.
most people can gauge from this conversation that you're not just here to settle deals. You're
Mhm.
actually here to back their clients and help them out and crunch the numbers for them and give them the best options available. So really appreciate your time, Hasib Bhaiya, and thank you so much for sponsoring the Sydney Brothers. I think you'll have a really good time when you finally get to meet the team. We're probably the most fun team in BCL. I'm gonna say that. But yeah, really looking forward to it. And thanks.
The background looks fun to me, like in the pink color. So that's
so yeah. We're a whole bunch of men with pink shirts. So that's I think we've kind of taken that color. Whenever people see pink, they think Sydney Brothers. So we've kind of stuck with that as well. So a few other teams have tried to get into it, but no one looks as good in pink like the way Sydney Brothers do. So all right, Bhaiya, well, thank you so much for your time. Thanks to Shahid Bhaiya. I don't know if he's still in here. For running this. So this Let's Talk Business podcast. So thanks so much for Hasib Bhaiya for sponsoring us. Inshallah, there will be a lot more marketing things that we'll be doing with you as well in the future. And keen to show you our jerseys when we finally get them. I think we should get them this week. And we've got your branding and your logos on it. So thank you again so much for your time. And inshallah, I'll probably be speaking with you tomorrow anyways. I think we have some work to do together. So thanks, Bhaiya. Assalamualaikum.
Thanks, Samin. Thanks, Alex. Bye-bye.
Thank you.